I feel like I'm a clown on a unicycle juggling that doesn't know how to do any of it, that's just trying to balance to keep up. I said between cheer banquet, track, taxes, Sadie running for prom, so we're trying our prom court, so we're trying to get all that stuff together. And then we just had our friend that passed away, so trying to help with that. I'm like, I don't know where anything else can get squeezed in. But then, of course, Oscar's like, okay, we're going to squeeze in a dinner here. And I'm like, okay, we'll get it done. Yeah. Get it done, juggle it all. Hi, I'm Jeanette Duarte, wife, mother of two, and a mortgage loan officer and sales manager for Mountain West Financial. I had first gotten into the business back in 2009. So prior to that, I was in lending for home loans, but on the servicing side for 11 years. And then in 2009, I decided to come into the origination side and start doing home loans. I think she was about my second client, and she came to me and she said, I know I'll probably never be able to buy a house, but somebody told me to talk with you. And she had a heavy past, different things happened, and always had constant setbacks, and had gotten into some difficult situations. She was a counselor up here at one of the local rehab places, so she's now was giving back to people where once she was in that same situation. So she came to me and I had told her, okay, bring me this and that of her paperwork. So we get to the bank statements and she's like, before you look at them, I'm so embarrassed. And I said, don't be embarrassed of anything. This is our starting point. Like, I'm going to be here every step of the way to help you purchase your home. And so she gave me her bank statement. It had $1. And I said, it has $1. We're going to go from there. So I told her, here's what you're going to do. You're going to save up this amount of money, sitting there talking with her. What do you spend on? Where can we cut? And just put her on a plan of here's what I think you can save every month. And a year later, she came back and she's like, okay, Jeanette, I have the money that you told me to save. So I said, okay, now let's do this. So got her pre-approved. She purchased a home probably a couple months after that. The most rewarding transaction I ever had, because she came in after she got her keys and she just gave me the biggest hug and started crying and said, I never thought I would be a homeowner, but because of you, I was able to fulfill one of my dreams that I wanted, was to actually be a homeowner. So being a loan officer sales manager does take a lot of time. It's one of those things I tell people, like, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. Like, you see me, you hear me, you see me at events, I talk to clients on the phone. Super kind of crazy busy during the day, and sometimes there's no time to actually work on files. At the same time, you have agent-partner relationships where you're trying to work with them to do their open house flyers, do co-branded marketing with them, thinking of things to do on social media, whether it's recording videos, raffles, different things that we're doing with each other. So pretty much during the day, you are connecting, networking, working on business stuff, and then comes the evening hour. So then I have to go and throw on my loan officer hat, because I'm a sales manager as well as a loan officer. So then I have to throw on my loan officer hat, which means that I'm actually working my loans and my files as well. Any new leads that I get from agents or refinances from past clients. So then usually I take that home and that's what I'm working on in the evening. So then it's juggling, because I'm a mom, as I stated, as well as a wife. So taking that home, family time is super, super important to us. We have our two. One is away at college, so now we have our one who's kind of an only child. So we definitely want to make sure that she still feels the support that she needs, whether it comes to school or just sitting there and talking, how was your day? We always make sure that's done. And then we do have a rule in the house: when dinner is served, we eat as a family and phones get turned off or put aside. We don't answer calls because we want that to be family time and catch up. How was our day? What's going on? Is there anything we need to address, take care of? So normally we do that. I do cook dinner pretty much every night. You know, we don't eat out that often except for on the weekends. So squeezing that in, and then after dinner we will then catch up a little bit more, and then she'll probably start her homework, and that's when we sit and start working again. Getting the kids involved in a lot of activities. As anybody knows us, our kids have always been involved in a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's challenging. Now it's gotten a little easier because she's driving, so she's able to get herself to and from practice. But man, when we first started this business, actually I got out of the servicing side of it when Sadie was 3. And the reason being is we had just signed her up for gymnastics, and I wanted to be that mom. You know, families mean so much to me. I wanted to be that mom that's helps, that's there, that, you know, the room mom or, you know, PTA. And so we did start her in gymnastics when she was 3, and started it, you know, pretty light, just a couple days a week. And then of course little girl wanted to do dance with it, so we're doing dance and gymnastics. And got Nathan into basketball, had him into basketball, so just kind of juggling all of that. Well, it didn't stop there. She decided she was going to love gymnastics and compete in gymnastics. So she went from 3 years old all the way up until 15 years old, and did competition gymnastics. So that took a lot of time, trying to balance that along with work, as well as basketball. And then sometimes we were traveling for basketball, traveling for gymnastics, and then decided to get into cheer. So cheer and track, and of course we don't stop either, because we are on the boosters for track, and then we're on committees for cheer, and, you know, constantly helping out. That's just who we are. If somebody needs help, we're going to be there. We help set up, we help tear down, we bring snacks, we bring, you know, sign up for everything. Just trying to be involved and make sure that our kids feel that we're involved in their stuff just as much as we're involved with work. So when we're working and we're doing events, we're 100% there. We're with our kids, we're 100% there. What we ended up doing though, and our kids probably could be a real estate agent and a loan officer at their young age right now, just because we've always had them involved in everything. So any events that we were doing with the city of Lancaster, or Karting for a Cure, which is a nonprofit that we're on as well, we've always had our kids involved in those things since they were little. So manning a booth, putting up easy ups, setting up tables and chairs, they know how to do a setup, do a tear down. And so we saw it as us giving back, or doing stuff for the community, or doing stuff for, you know, helping others, which runs into our business as well. And then still being able to be there with the kids, you know. And even when we do the Karting for a Cure was huge events, we take it as far as extending it out to not just our kids, you know, our 2, but my nephews, you know, Vincent and Gabriel, bringing them in, and my brother, Arturo, you know, helping with all of the photography and picture taking or setup, whatever it is. We could always count on our family, my sister, my mom doing desserts. We would always bring everybody into any function that we can, because then we're able to have our family there with us, but yet still helping the community and doing business at the same time. So we've kind of worked, even though it's very overwhelming, we've kind of worked everything into everything, if that makes sense, and into the business. It all just kind of pulls together and works. Getting our kids involved in all the events that I was mentioning, you know, whether it's work events, city events, I know it has helped them. Since they were little, you know, we've started them, and it's teaching them moments, what to do, what not to do. It's teaching them responsibility, you know, because everything intertwines, and we may be setting up, and there may be city officials coming and talking to us, or just other realtors, or even prior clients. We always made it that we introduce them. So whoever we were talking to, these are our kids, and our kids introduce them. So that piece of it teaches them how to network, how to be respectful, and having them help set up and be there at events. There's events where we have to be there at 6 in the morning. They know, okay, we got to go to bed early the night before because we're all getting up, 5 o'clock in the morning because we need to be there at 6 to start setting up. Sadie's one of the cheer captains. Nathan she was a cheer captain as a junior this year. Nathan was a track captain. So that these skills and involving them and them being around other people and knowing how to socialize has been able to help them get these roles even within their own school and with their teams and stuff. I think where I learned to be so dedicated, to be I want to do this, I want to be a leader, I want to run this. It's crazy, but it almost came from I didn't have it, so I want this. Growing up, you don't have much. So knowing that I don't want to not have much and I don't want my kids to not have much made me the go-getter that I am, made me the leader that I am. I never really had anybody that showed me what we've shown our kids, that have taken us under their wings and said, okay, this is why we're doing this. And that's what we did with our kids, even taking them to the events and setting up. We would sit back after and tell them, like, yes, you may seem like you're a worker, which you are, but it's going to teach you things. There wasn't always other kids there. My kids usually were the only 2 kids setting up and tearing down, while other kids were out playing or doing other things. But we do this as a family, and this is what we've always told them. We do this as a family. We help each other out. We're not the type of parents that give allowance. We never gave allowance. We made them understand that as a family, we all contribute to our family. And so mom and dad, we do our part, you guys do your part, and together we are able to do this. So myself growing up, I never had that. I think where part of it might have come in is that I'm the oldest of 3. 5 years older than my brother, 9 years older than my sister. So I was more like a mom to both of them. I remember I used to take care of my brother. I was 5 years old and I would have him on my hip and, carry him around and take care of him and change him and help feed him, do whatever. He was mine. So growing up, he was mine. And then my sister was 9 years younger, and both of us kind of took care of her. And I always had the love and support. We just didn't have the financial means to have what other kids had. We were very low income. I always knew that I needed to keep my grades up, keep myself busy, which was I played basketball. And this is how I would like to, people that are in the same situation right now to relate, so they can see just because you come from low income, just because you don't have what everybody else has, doesn't mean that you can't one day. One thing that I always look back on and say that I wish I could share with kids that don't think they can go to college. I did not know, nor did we have counselors. We had counselors, but no counselors that really pushed for college. Had I known that I could have probably gotten into any college financially with it being paid, because I was so low income and I was on honor roll, I had straight A's, I had a high GPA. I ended up getting awarded a few scholarships. They were very low amounts, so I ended up going to ABC Community College, which is nothing's wrong with that. But had I known that I could have applied for financial aid, I could have went to a 4-year university and gotten my business degree right away, versus going to the community college and doing full-time community college with working full-time and then having to lessen my hours at school to work more, to have income to support. Had I known that, and that's the one thing I always tell my kids and my husband, is that I wish that kids in school knew that they had this opportunity to have college paid for them, especially if they were low income. But there's no guidance there. One, they probably have no family that has gone to college, so there's no guidance for them to say, hey, here's the paperwork you need to fill out, here's what you need to do. And it is a lot of work, because going through getting our son into college this last year, he started in September, if it wasn't for Nathan being on top of all the deadlines and due dates and paperwork, it is a huge task for parents. So looking back and thinking, having a single mom that herself didn't have any college, any, further education, she did not know what to do for us. So if I can give any advice for that, is reach out to somebody that does. Don't be embarrassed. Reach out to myself, reach out to a family member or even a friend at school that they're starting their applications. Ask them to help you partner up, because there is a lot of financial aid out there for those that need it, and they just don't know how to get it, and there's nobody there guiding them to help them get there. So that would be my advice with college. Now, going in, working, of course, at the same time, going to school always pushes us back, takes us a little longer, and trying to get into the workforce. So not only, 1, am I a female? 2, I'm Hispanic. 3, I come from a very low income family. So trying to get into a corporate type job, career, I start off with a few things against me already, right? But I had a grandfather who of course is gone, and he always told me 2 things. One, I agree with him, and the other I don't. I'm going to share both of those with you. And I loved him to death. He, I think, is one of the ones that helped me, like, Mija, you could do this. Mija, there's no roadblocks. Mija, you can push through it. He himself did the same. So he would always tell me, you can do this. One thing he told me is, just get in. Apply for the mailroom. It doesn't matter. Apply for the janitor. It doesn't matter. Once you get in and they see your skills, they're going to know that they need to move you up. 100% correct. I believe that advice, and I would share that advice with you guys. 2, he always said, once you get in there and you get that position, don't share your knowledge with anybody, because they will take your job. That I don't believe. And that I say is complete opposite. And there was a time that when I did get into these jobs, and I'll go back to and tell you, but where I told my grandfather, I had already gotten into this company, I was a manager, and he said, hold on to your knowledge and don't share. And I said, Grandpa, that is not accurate. I want to share everything that I know to that next person, because that's how I'm going to make it one step higher, right? Because I'm going to share with that person, they're going to take my position, and then I'll move up to that next position. So that's the one thing I don't agree with my grandfather, and I always say, share your knowledge, share it. Teach that next person, help them up. Do not push them down. If you are in high school and you're thinking, this can hold me back, whether it's because I'm low income, or you just need to stay focused. Stay focused and know what you want. Have that internal drive, have that internal leadership. Know what you want to do. And I think the biggest challenge today with kids that are trying to get into the workforce is, don't ever think and take that attitude of, I'm better than that to work at a certain place. I'm better than that to work as the janitor. I'm better than that to work at an entry level. You start at the entry level and people will recognize your skills and you will be moved up.